Cal Raleigh ties Griffey for the most homers before an all-star break in Mariners franchise history. This is exciting. And I want to, before we go into more of these details, I want to address a comment I made last time. Last time we talked about Cal Raleigh versus Aaron Judge, I was staunchly, insistently of the mind that Aaron Judge, it was his MVP to lose. I think we're well on our way to it being Cal Raleigh's MVP to lose at this point. So it's not a formal apology or retraction because I'm not about that life. But what I will say is that in the time it has taken for me to go from that day to this day, I have become a little more realistic, I guess. Yeah, Aaron Judge has also proven some things that are disconcerting. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, back to the big dumper, okay? Back to the big dumper. He hit his 35th home run of the year on Friday. It was a 2-homer game, which he keeps doing, okay? But this is about...
Well, it's crazy, Brig, because it's like... so often with a switch hitter, you're like, okay, let's see if we can flip him over to the right side from the left side. But the dude homers from both sides of the plate in the same game all the time.
Yeah, in the same game. That's the problem for you.
Yeah, so he has more home runs than any catcher in baseball right now, obviously, because he has more home runs than anybody in baseball. But from the left side, I think he still has more home runs than any other catcher in baseball. And then from the right side, he's like third on the list.
That's insane.
It is. It's absurd.
That's insane.
And I just looked it up. So he's at 35 home runs on the season. Chipper Jones had 38 one year. And I was like, okay, what about Mickey Mantle? Mantle hit 52, but Cal's on pace for 64.
Right, exactly.
So not only would
these
that
are switch hitters,
set an American League record, but that would be astronomical for a switch hitter.
Bro. We've never seen anything like it.
To have your name in the same breath as Mickey Mantle is something else.
No, it's nuts. And then to add to the fact that he's a catcher, come on now.
Yeah.
That'll put you in a really exclusive group. Okay, so he has now tied Ken Griffey Jr. for the most home runs for a Mariner before the All-Star break, obviously. And manager Dan Wilson said, quote, "It feels like he hits a home run every game. That's what it feels like." And I can remember feeling it as a player that Griffey just felt like he hit a home run every day. I love the fact that Dan Wilson knows both sides intimately. He's been leaning on the dugout fence for both situations. So he really does. If he says it's just like that, then it's just like that. It really is.
Well, and the thing that's crazy as a fan, even as a fan, it is. I mean, with Judge that he comes up and you're like, I would not be surprised if he goes yard here, especially in like a clutch situation.
Yeah,
you're like,
unless there are two outs.
Unless
then he's striking out.
Right.
Forget about it. Not every time.
But that's the way it is with Cal. Like I haven't felt this way about somebody hitting home runs since Griffey.
Right.
Like as a Mariner, right?
As a Mariner,
that it's like he comes up and you're confident. Like we need 2 runs here, we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Because the ball is gonna go.
Which is crazy because of
it's absurd,
Edgar, right? So we're skipping Edgar to get to Griffey and bringing him.
Because Edgar had his years where he hit a bunch of bombs, but mostly you're like, he's going to hit one in the gap for us.
Yeah, he's going to put us on base. Yeah. No, I know. It's driving runs.
So he's going to bring the runners in. But yeah, it's wild.
Anyway, per Sarah Langs, Cal is tied for the second most multi-homer games in a team's first 88 games. Here's the list. Reggie Jackson in 1969. Now, again, the most multi-homer games in a team's first 88. Reggie Jackson in 69 had 8. Albert Pujols in 2009. What's the number on that? 8.
So,
7.
no,
I
so,
see
so
it.
Reggie Jackson had 8.
That's
Cal
what I thought.
Albert Pujols in 2009, Luis Gonzalez in 2001, Jimmy
Yep.
Fox in 1934, and Babe Ruth in 1928 all had 7
I see.
multi-homer
Sorry.
games before the All-Star break.
Had a hard time reading your notes on that one, but
I probably could have organized that better.
that's okay. I like the information. So yeah. So he's now tied with wow. This is cool.
They've played their
cool
88th
list.
game, so it is a cool list. And I was curious because I was like, how many of those guys won a World Series? Because I was looking at Luis Gonzalez, right?
Yeah.
In 2001. I got to Albert Pujols and saw that he did not win a World Series and stopped looking. It's like, okay, not as important of a thing as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh, I see where you failed. Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's cool. I want to know.
Anyway.
I have the same question, but I want to know how many of these guys were all-stars in those years, because I'll bet you that's a statistic that holds true for every one of them. And
sure
I would also want to know what their MVP voting would be on those years. So I will look at one, and you look at the other.
Pulled up right now.
Okay, I'm gonna do.
So Albert Pujols in 2009, he won the MVP and was an All-Star.
Okay, Reggie Jackson in 69. Reggie Jackson in 69 was an All-Star and finished 5th in MVP voting. Okay, you take Gonzalez, I'll take Jimmy Fox.
Babe Ruth was neither.
Whoa.
Because he's overwritten. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my, don't you dare.
He had won an MVP in 23, but he did finish the year with 54 homers. So
Jimmy Fox, 1934, All-Star selection, 10th in MVP voting, led the league for intentional walks, 17. 17 times. And was also led the league in total walks at 111. Holy crap. He was in 150 games. He was intentionally walked 17 times, and he walk total 111 times. That's crazy. Okay.
That is crazy.
That's fun.
Luis Gonzalez was an All-Star, and he finished 3rd in the MVP voting that year. But that's because Barry Bonds won it. And then Sammy Sosa was in front of him too. So
there you go.
Nobody else is winning an MVP in those few years.
No. Now Cal has finished. Cal has never been an All-Star, but he will be this year, and he's finished top 20. In 2023, finished in the 18th, and he finished 12th in MVP voting last season. So he's going to be a lot higher this year.
Yeah, yeah, and he's not only is he an All-Star, he is the starting catcher for the American League.
Yes, he is. He's also fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do you place him in terms of MVP voting? Is he number 1 for you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was saying that last week.
But you haven't changed your opinion? I changed my opinion. Did you change yours?
Nope.
No. Didn't think so.